The betrayal. About 1 month ago, my wife told me she wants a divorce. I was completely blindsided by it. We have 2 little boys together, ages 3 and 2. Long story short, my WS explained that there were many things throughout our marriage that she's been unhappy with. She said that it is too late for another chance at the marriage. We both began seeing therapists individually, and a marriage counselor together. She would go back and forth with her feelings, whipping me around like a roller coaster. She would tell me that she doesn't know why she can't give me a second chance, but she can't. She would say that she needs to work on herself and can't do it while she's with me. Until I discovered here, I was of the opinion that the WS and I, with great effort, could make a better marriage for us both and for our children. She would simply repeat that it is too late. We've only had 2 marriage counseling sessions so far, and at the end of the last one the therapist took us both aside individually. I don't know what she said to my WS, but she told me that though she doesn't want to reconcile, do not give up. There's always a chance. Then, I discovered evidence of her affair with a former friend of mine. She had been insisting that their relationship was platonic, but began trickle-truth me about things that have happened. She admitted that she's been lying to me about certain things, without elaborating on what. And that she does it, the lying, because she needs her privacy. And I'm not a part of that aspect of her life. She insisted nothing physical has happened. I found a damning email from her to him stating otherwise. I have not confronted her with the email evidence yet. She doesn't know that I am aware of her secret email account. I want to draw up the divorce papers and serve her with them, then possibly expose the affair to her friends and family after the fact. However, I'm not sure how to proceed. The WS has been beating me over the head with the threat of filing divorce papers for the entire time, which would usually result in me saying just go do it then, which she wouldn't do. Then, the marriage counselor suggested that we postpone any action of that sort until after the holidays, so that we could get in 4 to 5 sessions of marriage counseling before any action is taken. This was all said before I discovered the physical affair. However, I never knew I could feel this much anger and pain. Please give me some advice, something, anything. I don't know what to do. I can't trust a single word she says. She even said that she wished she could X me at one point, though she said she didn't mean it and profusely apologized for it later that night and again the next day. What should I do? She is still in contact with the OM. Just last night she sent him an email saying, "It's been a rough week. I wish I could talk to you." The OM is not married. I did have a software running on her computer, but I disabled it after a few weeks. It was making me feel like absolute trash that I was spying on her. Plus, the 180 says not to spy on your spouse, so I'm confused as to what to do. I'm having major self-confidence issues because of all this, and I don't want to duck up this process. But like you and others have said, waiting will just make it worse. The bit about stopping the MC until OM is gone is logical too. I've stopped trying to reason with her since reading the 180. It's only been 2 days since I've changed my attitude, but she has already begun to react differently. She tries to initiate conversations more than usual. She'll ask me the same question over and over to talk to me. This crap is so messed up. This Monday I am going to the bank, setting up a new account to have my paychecks deposited to, and trying to get a line of credit so I can pay the lawyer. I'll have her served as soon as I can and tell her I know about the physical affair. So, I got home about 5 seconds before WS did. She had the kids at the store, and WS is acting all clingy, trying to initiate conversation after conversation. I keep it as abrupt as possible, giving short answers and not engaging in chances of conversation. Then after the kids are down for their naps, WS says to me, "It bothers me that you think I had an affair." I tell her about how she has been trickle-truthing me, and how I don't believe her when she says she hasn't had a physical affair with OM. She keeps denying it and pressing me on why I think that way. No doubt trying to determine what I actually know. I keep repeating that I know her so well, and that it's pretty obvious when she lies. We go back and forth like this for a while. Then she tells me that next week she is going to file and that I need to move out. I slipped up and said that I was also going to file on Monday and that she is the one that needs to move out, since she is the one that wants out. WS said that that's something that a judge will have to decide then, and began to talk about how we could possibly lose the kids if this got super ugly. I told WS that if she was truly concerned about the kids, there are much better ways to limiting the risk of the courts taking our children, namely trying to work this crap out. This took her aback. She backpedaled slightly and fell back on the "it will be cheaper if we go to mediation instead of doing it through the courts." Then she asked me if I was going to file on Monday. I lied and said no, to try and buy myself some time. She asked me if I was going to go back on the custody issue. We had previously spoke about doing 50-50. I gave WS a non-answer and said I don't know what's going to happen, especially since I can't trust a single word WS says. Now I'm outside splitting wood while WS naps on the couch and the kids nap upstairs. I'm scared Shanti less. I don't know what she's going to do. Thankfully, I recorded the conversation earlier. I am going to file on Monday. It's going to go file to expose to confront. I'm terrified of what is to come. Comments. It sounds like your wife wash fishing for your source. Good job on keeping it to yourself. It also sounds like your wife pulled the divorce card out and you counter it very well. Stay strong, prepare for the worst, and retain a lawyer. It's the second best way to protect yourself. The first way is to have your gear in place so you know what she is planning. Once she gets served, you will know exactly what your next step is. She will see you are serious. She will know you have proof. And it will be up to her to end this affair or not. As of now, she has no reason to end this affair. But I do have to say she has to feel the effects of your newfound confidence. The newfound confidence that your current action is justified. She got her first taste of the new raging pain. I think within a week or two you will have clear direction. As scary as it is, you will have direction. Let us just hope she comes out of the fog enough to at least come to the table and work it out. OP responds. She got super pissed when I wouldn't relent on saying I didn't believe her. Ultimately, it came down to, if you don't believe me, then duck you. I told her that was really mature, all the while keeping a cool head. She told me I was being disrespectful to her. The gall of this woman. I asked her if I was being disrespectful to her over her affair, or because I didn't take her at her word after so many lies. She countered that she didn't want to tell me about certain things, still without admitting to any physical affair. Because I would think this divorce is about the affair and not our own problems. She is trying her hardest to confuse me and conflate the issues. I secured the money for the lawyer's retainer fee, so it's all set to begin on Monday. 2 questions I still have. When I expose the affair to her family, do I forward the one gem of an email? I would need to present proof along with my accusation, right? Otherwise, people will just think I'm nuts. Also, who do I all include in the initial email blast? Right now, I'm only considering her immediate family, and my immediate family. I'm not sure how far I want to take this aspect of it. Honestly, I think limiting it to our immediate families would have the desired effect, but I'm not sure what I'm not considering. Unknown unknowns and all that. WW told me today that she will not be leaving the house anymore, contrary to our 2 to 3 day rotation arrangement. She said it's for the kids, but it sounded exactly like I sounded in the beginning. When this all began, I had done some reading on child custody. What I had learned was that by one of the parents leaving for evenings or whatever, it could be viewed as abandonment. After a few days of incredibly painful arguments, I agreed to give her space and rotate evenings in the house with her. This was well before I knew of the affair. We've been rotating ever since. She was almost anxious to tell me she wouldn't be leaving anymore. I clearly won't be leaving either. It is very unexpected behavior. Perhaps she is sensing something is up. 1 week later, I filed for divorce last Monday. I named the OM in the papers. I told WS about it this Wednesday morning, mainly because I couldn't stand keeping secrets from her. She has not been served the papers, mainly because of me dragging my feet. She was shocked and started crying. I told her we were not going to discuss anything further about it until our MC appointment the next day. I exposed the affair to as many people as possible. It seems to have scared OM off. They haven't communicated by any means that I am aware of for 2 weeks. In fact, he was out of town up until a week ago, and she sent a "Hi, are you back from vacation yet?" email to him, to which he did not respond, and her attitude visibly changed from that point. She knew he was back, probed him, and no response. This seems to have sobered her up a bit from her fantasy land. When we were at MC, I began the session by saying I didn't know what the point was since there was still another man in the picture. To which she responded, "There are no other men. And there won't be for a long while," in this defeated tone of voice. I took this as confirmation that they have indeed not spoken, since she seemed humiliated about it. Perhaps I'm just engaging in wishful thinking. Whatever, the MC went really well, all things considered. We both left feeling good about ourselves and each other. She said she was relieved that I did what I did, since we wouldn't have to wait the months that the mediator was saying it would take for the papers to be filed. Right now, I'm of the opinion that I'm done with her bullshone tea. I'm not dismissing anything, and she's not writing me off, her words, so no doors are closed. I'm just done with the emotional roller coaster that the last month has been. It has provided relief for both of us. I separated our finances too. Essentially, I've removed all control from her that she used to have, and it seems to have shocked the duck out of her. We are talking about her moving out into her own place, but every time we discuss it, she seems less enthusiastic about it. Again, maybe that's my own misperceptions. Well, she's already not loyal, and the divorce has been filed. If she decides that she wants to reconcile, then I guess I'll worry about that if it comes to it. Otherwise, I don't see the point in dwelling on it. I personally am not going to spurn advances from women anymore. Why should I? WW wants out. I'm giving her what she wants and will act accordingly. If she changes her mind, then we can talk. Filing the papers has liberated me to some extent. I'm no longer enslaved to her whims. Whatever happens, happens. No fault state here too. I just told the lawyer that I wanted to name the OM in the divorce papers. Actually, I don't think he specifically named. Lawyer mentioned something about not specifically naming the person. So who knows? I've only seen the draft. Duck, I'm pissed. So, WS wrote other man an email yesterday, saying something along the lines of I was wondering if you called on a restricted number, and detailing how living in the same house as me sucks. WS then says, please call me. She then checked her secret email account throughout the night, with no reply from other man, no calls either. I am having a hard time understanding how she can be so ducking selfish. She knows I know, but she doesn't know I have evidence. She continues to insist that it was not physical, but she does admit to the EA. I've told her family, and OMs and my mutual friends. I mention it to as many people as I can that know OM. I told them that she is having an affair with OM. I have not mentioned to WS that I've spread the news. I didn't see the point. She'll figure it out if she can, and if not, whatever. She is so deep in her own fantasy land that she still thinks she's calling the shots, as evidenced by her most recent email. That world is beginning to unravel for her, as it seems like OM has been scared off. I hope that isn't wishful thinking on my part, but yeah, you're pretty close to the mark. Shell-shocked, beginning to doubt her actions. She's got a stubborn streak that can get way out of control, and this is definitely what is happening now. But yes, she is a control freak, and likes to try to establish her control in any way possible, even if it's in her own thoughts. That's why when I filed, she was taken aback, since I took control from her. She'll do everything she can to re-establish that control. Too bad it's not going to happen though, lol. So, this morning, after being asked, I told WW about the reason I put for the divorce on the papers, extramarital affair. That did not sit well. She tells me that someday when the kids are old enough, she doesn't want them to see that. I was thunderstruck. I told her that maybe you should have considered that in your actions, instead of in the consequences to your actions. She then fell back on denying that anything physical happened. In fact, she elaborated a bit in that we didn't have anything physical. We didn't have done you know what. I told her I would consider changing the reason, but she's going to have to prove to me as to why I should. More concerned with her ducking image than the damage she's doing to the people around her. Incredible. So, she's moved back in with her parents, which I find amusing. Sadly, she has the kids with her for the next day. I can't believe how much this hurts. Comments. I want you to get R out of your mind right now. When a person say they could X you, take it seriously. 1. She has not said anything about R with you. Just that she wants to do it without lawyers. 2. She actually mentioned to MC she wants you dead. 3. Only you are thinking of a possible R she wants out. 4. You want the kids to have a whole family, but what good does it do to have them lose a parent by violence from the other? It sounds like you have a good support system with her and your families, so divorcing her will still keep you and the kids close. Basically, what I'm saying is you should not ever feel safe sleeping with this woman. OP responds. The thing is, she keeps talking about how she wants to be friends after the divorce, and also that she says she is not ruling out a possible reconciliation, given enough time to see that we can both survive and function on our own. She told me that if I follow through with naming the affair as the reason on the divorce papers, that this friendship that we're trying to cultivate would be impossible. She's really confusing the duck out of me, but I suppose that's her goal. It makes me wonder if she's only saying it because it's the only measure of control she has over me at this point. And I did something stupid yesterday afternoon too. She was leaving with the kids to spend the night at her parents' house. I had loaded the kids in the car and went back in the house where she was still gathering her things. She said to me, I'll come back tomorrow and start packing my stuff, or at least try to move it into a corner or something. I jokingly said that maybe I'll just throw it out on the curb. It'd be really easy then, with a smile on my face. It was completely in jest, but it was a stupid joke to make. She says something like, "You're going to make me cry," at which point I went up to her and grabbed her gently by the face and stared at her while I said, "I'm sorry, I'm really not trying to hurt you." It was an honest joke. I held her for 5 seconds. She neither shied away nor nuzzled into my hands. Man, I wish I hadn't done that. I've let my emotions get the better of me. Now I sit here, drunk, wondering why I do the things I do and I have no answer. Because that's how much I've failed in all this. This is so painful. Thank God I've got my kids to keep me bound to this world. It is incredibly hard to keep composure around her when I still feel so deeply for her. I will do this though. It needs to be done. Hell, I was already leaning towards keeping the reason as is. I just really don't want to hurt her. I have the kids for yesterday and today. WW and I have to switch vehicles before I pick the kids up because hers has the child seats in it. This will soon be rectified. I tell her that I need her to show up at my work at a certain time because I have to pick up dinner before I get the kids. She tells me she has cooked us dinner and it's in the oven at home. I ask her why she did that. She says it's because she wanted to eat something before she left for work. She didn't touch the meal she prepared. Wow. About 10 days later. Okay, So, a lot has happened since I last posted. I took the kids on an 8-hour road trip to see my family for Christmas. WS stayed at the family house alone. WS also supposedly confronted OM at his house while I was gone for the holidays. After he went dark on her when the divorce and exposure of affair became public knowledge. According to WS, OM feels terrible, and like it's all his fault. This is a man that used to be my friend and lied to my face about what was happening. From what I can tell, they have not spoken after she called him a coward and a liar in her final message. Now, tonight, WS comes over to pick up some stuff. We get baked together, and I ask this. What are you doing for New Year's? Nothing more, nothing less. She then launches into a I'll hang out for a while, do some shots to the new year. Then go sleep, where I've been staying, later. She repeats this a few times as we discuss the next few days. So now I'm like what the duck previously, at our most recent group counseling session. I said I felt like I was being used as plan B since things with her boyfriend isn't working out. She denied it, claiming that there is no plan B, there's not even plan A. She is continuing to look for housing for herself, but her credit sucks and she doesn't make enough to have many options. Her parents are going to help her, but this places her in a bind that she is actively trying to avoid. WS and her mother are having issues over this entire escapade. New Year's is a few days away, and now she calls and invites me over to where she's living to watch the football game today. Comments. Congratulations. Your wife is now trying to date you. My suggestion: finds a new girlfriend. Or enjoy the game. The choice is always yours. You do realize that she only wants you now because you are moving on and don't want her? If you re-engage with her and she gets you back, she will be looking to replace you as soon as she can. Why would you put yourself through that? OP responds, this is what I'm having trouble deciding. I'm no slouch, I get hit on regularly. However, I am willing to at least try to salvage the marriage, for both her and my sakes as well as the kids. Don't know what to do. The problem is that I get to see my kids if I go hang out with her. That's hard to turn down. The other night when we were talking, I asked her if she was friend zone me. She said no and that she also feels it too, whatever that means. However, I don't want to pass up the opportunity to see the kids, so I'll likely go. And if we were to get back together, who's to say that we couldn't build a successful relationship? Following the steps on this board would be a good start to rebuilding the trust that she has broken. For instance, over at her place watching the football game, she was sitting in a different room. Her parents were also over. I would do something like walk through the room she and the kids were in and give the kids some kisses. As I'd be walking out of the room not really paying her any mind, she would drop a "How are you?" To which I have no choice but to automatically ask her how she is in return and engage her in conversation. This is the type of crap that keeps happening. She strings me along, and it feels like she can't make up her mind as to what she wants. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to sit and wait for her to decide. It's hard to realize it's happening when it happens with her. I guess that just speaks to how ducked up our relationship was. And despite my intentions, it is still extremely difficult to cut off contact. I'm so desperate for affection I find my resolve wavering. At least on New Year's I told her she had to leave when she wouldn't stop berating me. The ice creams she bought us are still sitting in the freezer. And I know that's pissing her off because she loves ice cream. I don't know anymore. I know there's a good person inside her somewhere. And if she was able to be that person again, then yes, I would want to. I can't tell what's real anymore though. It's like she's a fracking pod person. I went and finalized the divorce petition today. Maybe having her actually served with the papers will allow me to regain some ground. It just hurts so much. So tonight, I basically put up a wall between us. I refused to discuss anything that didn't relate to the kids. She was pissed, to say the least. She kept asking me about random crap, which I refused to answer. She told me that I was being short and mean and asked me why. I told her it was because she had the affair. She then said that she told me she was sorry and that she's sorry for the way she handled it and that she would have divorced me anyways. She then compared my Dewey to her affair, trying to say that because I did what I did that it wiped out her crime. I had none of that and told her that nothing will wipe out what she did. I then told her I didn't want to talk to her and told her she had to get out. We went back and forth a bit, her like you can't kick me out, my name is still on the deed, and me like not for long it's not. She told me that I've only proved her right over and over since she told me initially. We spent the weekend together with the kids, some of her siblings, and her parents. She then tells me tonight that she thought this was the new reality taking shape with me being hunky-dory about everything and not fighting at all. She told me that I was trying to bring up old crap, her affair, so that I had something to be angry about relating to the divorce, as opposed to acknowledging my own faults. I responded that if that's what you think, then you're even more pathetic than I thought. She then tried to ask me various questions regarding upcoming events that did not involve the kids or anything logistical, to which I would not respond except with "that's none of your business and I don't want to talk to you regarding anything that doesn't involve the kids." She finally left. She was visibly upset. I hate this game. A month later, here's an update. Basically, one night, over the phone, I was wasted and told her exactly what I thought of her. The phrase scandalous cheating woman was used many times. I've felt infinitely better since then. I am taking a job in a town about 2 hours away. WS has moved out of the house for now. I met up with an ex-girlfriend and had fun with her. I feel like a new man. WW tells me that she had envisioned 3 years and then we could get back together. I laughed in her face and told her I planned to be long gone in 3 years. I asked her why she thinks there's a possibility. She replies that she wasn't willing to throw away everything we have considering our history. I'm seriously beginning to wonder if she is crazy. All of a sudden, I have potential career options that exceed anything I would have had were I to remain tethered to my now ex-wife. Reconciliation is still an option, but I could give less than 2 ducks about it. Listen up, betrayed men. This is not the end of the world when this type of crap happens. You can recover and get a great boost in your life if you just seize the chance. Don't hesitate, don't dwell, just do what needs to be done. I really do feel like a new man. Funny thing, STBXW can see it too. I still go to group therapy with her, and she was fighting back tears when I was detailing how much better I'm doing and how much fun I'm having without her. She's crazy, and I don't have to deal with it anymore. 2 months later, I quit my job to facilitate my rapid move out of town. Dated 2 more women. I'm discovering that at my age most women want to find someone to settle down with. I'm only 33 for crying out loud. My STBXW and I don't really talk at all, except for information regarding the children. Really though, we get along better. I've been working on letting go of my anger towards her and what she did. It seems to be working. The thought of getting out of this town is more reassuring than anything else, so I find that I can communicate with her better. None of that really matters though, as I could truly give a crap about her. I do still care for her and love her. She has told me that she still loves me too. What to make of that, I'm not sure. But I don't really care. I am gone. I'm going to do the things that I should have done 10 years ago, instead of working whatever job I came across while following and supporting her. So that's about it. I am in a holding pattern until I find a job in an area that is 3 hours away from my sons. I've only started applying over the last 5 weeks, so I haven't heard much yet. The divorce is proceeding. I need to bring a bunch of documentation into my lawyer. But it's not high on my list of priorities, so I don't care how fast I get that taken care of. I know the decision will be bad for my kids. There isn't a single thing that's coming of this whole fiasco that isn't bad for them. However, for the last 10 years, I have put my career second to hers. I have taken jobs that were beneath both my pay grade and my dignity so that she could bring our family to where she desired. That practice is now ending with my move out of town. I am in talks with a place just 3 hours away in a large metro area that are offering me twice what I made at my last position. There's no way I'm passing that up. In fact, from a strategic standpoint, it would be more advantageous for me to take the much higher pay career path than remain in this crappy small town, with providing and caring for my children. Plus, there are many more women in the larger metro area. They all have their teeth, and aren't in their 60s. Duck small towns. Basically, she forced my hand, in a limited sense. She has lived with her parents since this thing began. They finally kicked her out. She goes and rents a ducking efficiency that is completely unsuitable for the kids. So now the kids live at the house full time, with her and I trading in and out of both places. It's like my own personal hell. It's not going to be like this for long though, as I have ever-increasing job prospects appearing. I am about 3 weeks into the application process, and in my field 3 to 5 weeks is my average. I have already received a fantastic semi-offer. I haven't actually gotten the offer yet. We'll see what happens, so if it does happen, I am gone. I'll stay in a hotel until I can find an apartment. And as to how she is acting, the other day she told me that she figures we'll probably have physical bonding at some point, as she is still attracted to me. I agreed and made like I'd be fine with it and leered at her for a while. We are coexisting to some extent, but I am completely not interested. I met a chick in the metro area. I'm looking at that as awesome. I can't wait to move. I have zero idea what she is thinking. As far as I'm concerned, she's nuts, not interested. Almost a year later, it was harder than expected to reach back and recollect everything that has transpired since my last post. I will do my best to get everything right. Sorry if this is a jumble. I wrote it over the course of the workday. WXW is wayward ex-wife, and W is new woman. So, yeah, key points. I moved 3 hours away to a major metro area. I see my kids every second to third weekend. It sucks, but whatever. It's the best that can happen for now. I pay through the nose for child support, so whatever. I doubled my salary instantly. There is so much work for me here it's a bit insane. I've dated a few different women. Longest one is the one I'm currently dating, going on 5 months. We're actually hitting it off pretty well. We've talked about moving in together, but my lease isn't up until May, so I have plenty of time to see how it all takes shape. Things have not turned out exactly the way WXW thought they would. WXW is not happy about her decisions and regrets everything she has done. Story: last weekend I went to visit my kids for the day Saturday. The plan was that I would spend Sat with them, put them to bed, then drive to a friend's house 40 minutes away to spend the night and assist with a motor rebuild the next day. Saturday is going fine. I'm having a great time with my kids as usual. I put them to bed and doze off with them, which is customary for me. Apparently, while I am upstairs with the kids, WXW's roommate returns to the house. WXW and Kids Live with a female grad student. And the two of them got drunk downstairs while I was upstairs putting the kids to bed. I come out of the kids' room, get ready to go, completely miss the fact that WXW is drunk, throw my coat on and go. I go to my friend's place, we get hammered, drunkenly order some car parts, then go to sleep. The next morning Buddy and I meet up with a third person that is also participating in the engine rebuild and we all go get breakfast. Just as we were done eating and heading back to Buddy's house to begin work, WXW calls me. She's crying. She tells me that she can't stop throwing up and asks me to come back and watch the kids. I do, and as usual the kids and I have a great time. Apparently WXW and her roommate got sick off wine while I was upstairs with the kids the night before. That's what I didn't notice as I left, which I find hilarious. WXW doesn't manage to crawl out of bed until 3:30 p.m. And only from prodding from me because I had to get home. The moment that her and I are alone she loses it. She starts bawling. She apologizes profusely about another person ever being involved in the divorce. She says that the divorce should still have happened, but she doesn't know why. She apologizes for how crappy she treated me. She says she wishes I could be around more. She says she still has deep feelings for me. She says she misses me. I tell her I miss her too, because honestly, I do. She tells me that she is seeing someone that lives in a city about 2 hours away from her, and that she has dated a few other people since the divorce. To which I ask her, why are you telling me this? To which she replies, I thought you would want to know about someone that may be around the kids. She asks me if I am still seeing NW. I tell her yes. She says something weird like, good, I'm glad you found someone that works for you. She also said she felt crazy for a long time there but feels like that's mostly over with. I told her to me it was that she had a short break with reality, and that I'd feel like a fool for the rest of my life because of her. When she said that she wishes I could be around more I responded, you could move closer. To which she didn't reply. One specific thing WXW said, she wished she could be more like the person she was supposed to be after having removed me from her life. I eventually left after helping get the kids dressed to go outside. She thanked me profusely for missing out on that rebuild and helping her when she was sick. I tell her to write everything she wants to say in an email, so that I can understand her better. She says that she will but hasn't yet. So, I drive back to my apartment in the metro area. NW is there studying, waiting for my return. She could tell something was up, and she's a smart cookie. I told NW about WXW getting sick and my going back to watch the kids, but not about what WXW said. NW has become a bit possessive, and asserting herself publicly with me, against other women, when she hasn't before. I've been letting things come as they may. I don't know what else to do. Should I consider the option of reconciliation? If, for any other reason, than for the kids, I think I may have come off as way more open to R than I meant to. I even told WXW that, saying to her, why would I put myself in that situation again? I'm just trying to look at things objectively. The apologies and whatnot were so unexpected. It's just anxiety. It's me going through all the possible scenarios in my mind. I know it would be foolish to even consider reconciliation. Like was said, she would maybe do it again, and I would constantly be suspicious. I miss her though, and I don't know why. It's maddening. I feel like a bumbling fool. Doubt is lingering over every thought. Aren't there stories, some of them with successful endings, all online of people that attempt R, where the WS is completely transparent and trust is rebuilt? Shouldn't I at least be open to consideration of the option? And I am beginning to get back to 50-50 custody of my children. Maybe once that has occurred, these doubts that plague me would disappear. At least I sure hope that is what happens. Another year later, final update. Let's see, WXW and I are very hostile towards one another. But I don't mind. If it weren't for our children, I would be fine with never seeing her again. She has found someone to provide for her. Dude has to be at least 10 years her senior. I don't really care. She's lost her freaking mind, and I want no part of it save what is necessary for the kids. Yes, letting go was very hard. I'm not sure when it even happened, but it did. Finally, I have heard that it takes men about twice as long as women to recover from a scenario such as this. But whatever, I was in one relationship that was wild but short, and another for around 8 months. And fortunately, that one had to end, and I then moved from the suburbs to the heart of the metro. Recently, about 2 months now, I've been dating someone new, and it is a lot of fun. I feel free. And the words she said before. She likely forgot that she ever said those things, as she was in a weakened state from the drinks when she said them. And to keep her own worldview from breaking, she'd pretend like she never said it in the first place. Ever since I moved out of town, she's been spiraling, trying to keep up the image that everything she does is right. My comment. Did you guys enjoy this 3-year story? I did. I felt like I watched OP grow from a boy to a man. You agree? Comment down below, sub and bell, and make sure to check out the recent stories I posted.